Margot, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Jewelry really does tell a story, and jewelry really is, oftentimes what's left of people even after they're gone. Everybody gets married with fake jewelry on. It's hilarious after you think about what everything else you spent on this wedding.
I love this idea of wearing your legacy while you're still building it.
If you think about it, buy the $12,000 eternity band, that's going to mean a lot more to you long term than the Chanel bag is.
I was talking to someone about my journey, and she literally said, I want you to look at that ring that your friend designed for you. And she's like, I just want you to remember that God has something beautiful for you.
I had a client who waited 7 years to tell him she didn't like her ring anymore. We just have a bunch of mass-produced stuff that does not have a refined designer eye. So if a man is coming to me and saying, I trust you, Margot, I'm going to make sure that it's not only structurally perfect, but it's going to be beautiful.
What are you wearing right now that reminds you of who you are? Not what looks good, not what's trendy, not what someone else picked out for you. I mean, what are you wearing that tells your story? The version of you that you never want to forget. Because here's what I think most of us are missing. We build these incredible lives. We survive hard things, we make bold moves, we become new versions of ourselves, and we have nothing to show for it, nothing tangible, nothing we can look down at on a hard Tuesday and think, oh yeah, that's who I am. That's what I've been through. That's what I'm building. What if the jewelry you wore wasn't just decoration, but a declaration, a reminder of your story, a piece of your legacy that you get to wear while you're still building it, something so intentionally you that one day you pass it down to your daughter or your granddaughter holds it and says, tell me about this. Tell me about her. My guest today designs exactly that. Not jewelry from a case, not jewelry from a catalog, jewelry that is born from your story. The moves you've made, the moments that changed you, and the woman that you're becoming. And she has a belief that might challenge everything you thought you knew about one of the most important pieces of jewelry you'll ever own. This is Margot McNaull. And this conversation made me look at what I wear and why I wear it completely differently. So Margot, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to unpack all of this. I know when you and I first met, just the way that you think about jewelry and the way that all of it comes together for you and how you design, I didn't know that what you offer actually existed. And so it's so exciting. And yeah, I really want to unpack it. So I want to start off with, what are most women wearing on their hands, their necks, their ears that has absolutely nothing to do with who they are? Like, what's missing? Why does it have nothing to do with who they are?
Yeah, well, I think there's two problems. One is people are piecemealing their jewelry together. So it was funny because I'm sure we'll get to it, but you were the one who said you want an everyday staple look. You're the one who brought that up to me.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wear. I just wear the same thing all the time, and I dress it up or I dress it down. And these are like classic high-end pieces, but the concept of pay-per-use comes in where over a lifetime, these are so worth it.
Yeah.
I think people are piecemealing things, grabbing something here or there, and it doesn't necessarily fit together. So that's the first problem. The second main problem is that they have not found people like me or me, right? There's not very many people like me.
Yeah, I don't know anyone.
I don't either. And who actually are going to design with so much meaning and so much relevance, because jewelry really does tell a story, and jewelry really is, oftentimes what's left of people even after they're gone. And it's just this lasting. There's very few things in life that are that lasting. And so to have something that is innately yours is so special and totally missing out there.
Yeah. Well, I think that people look at jewelry as an accessory, right? And so they don't put much thought into it from that perspective. I mean, even when I'm looking at my wedding day, like, I'm pretty sure I wore fake jewelry. Like, that's kind of devastating, right? Like,
it's devastating.
Are you cringing a little bit? How many women do that, right? Like, you're dying inside.
I'm dying inside. So when I started, I was really in the wedding industry, and I'm East Indian. My mom's East Indian, so half of me. And there's no such thing as fake jewelry.
Right.
So from when I was a baby, I had real jewelry. So then in North America, though, this is huge. Everybody gets married with fake jewelry on. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's hilarious after you think about what everything else you spent on this wedding.
Yeah.
And the few things you get to keep from your wedding. And then we're wearing like plastic. I don't understand.
Yeah. And then you're thinking about too, like your daughter, for instance, she would she'd be able to have that necklace that you wore on your wedding day.
Yes.
And that, if people aren't thinking about that ahead of time, that doesn't happen. That's not a tradition that's passed down. Or what about wearing even like something precious from your mom, like a precious piece from your mom or something on your wedding day? It would mean a lot. So you believe that jewelry should tell a story, which is like, you're the first one I've ever even heard talk about this. Like I said, I just always thought of it as an accessory. So it doesn't just look beautiful, but actually holds meaning, a moment, a chapter, a transformation even.
Yes.
Where did that belief come from?
I think this is a great question. I think that it came from me working over time with people. I didn't read too much into what I do. Like usually I think this is common. When you're the person doing it, you don't see it the same way.
Right.
And one client once left me a review and she said, basically referred to Margot's eye, the way Margot sees things, and that no one sees it like me. And I really see people. So I don't know. I've always seen into people.
Yeah.
I've seen into them as friends, as family members, as like I see deeply, I care deeply.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to this, I guess it's just natural for me that I see it the same way. So even if I've only met you for 1 hour, I pick up on things and I really like to infuse who you are into things. And I've created that step-by-step process even when my team members are designing or like meeting people. I don't get to meet everybody now. And it's, there's certain things that look good on people, don't look good on people. And then from there, we can really pull the meaning back into it in the simplest ways. And then when you're working on a transformation, of course, or something deeper, then I really get to dig into that. And that's where it's going to be totally you.
Yeah. It's where the story really comes together with even the design of the jewelry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And you put a lot of importance on rings. I've heard you talk about. So tell me why a ring specifically?
Oh, I know. I love rings. I think it comes down to rings are what you see the most. I think that's why I love them so much. If I was to go out and have nothing else on, I'd probably have a ring on. It's a reminder. And I like, I've told you this, but back to those days where we had the kings, and they had their special, like, or the clans in Scotland, they had a special ring, right?
Yeah.
That ring was the whole identity of the family, right? And that would have been passed down usually to the firstborn son. And that ring passed down, and that ring meant something, right?
Yeah.
And it's also how they sealed their letters usually, right? It was like the seal, that was
like the stamp.
The authority, right, of life. And there's so much if you dig into that and think through that. And then there was family rings for so long, and we're kind of losing these traditions, which is devastating. We can't lose them. We need to make sure we hold on to them of what we're passing down and what they mean. Going back to these things like your insignia, or just creating, anything that represents your family and represents you. I even have a pair of earrings from my grandmother on the Indian side. And she liked rubies, and she bought rubies a lot. And then they would give them to me because that's my birthstone.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there. Well, there's one thing I'll never melt from her. I'll get to that. But the earrings, I just looked at them and I thought, there's me, my mother, my sister. And I said, Mom, do you have a third ruby? Let me make us matching family rings for the three girls,
Yeah.
and representing like this matriarch of the family.
Whoa.
Who was obsessed with jewelry.
Yeah.
She would be so proud.
Yeah.
And I actually have one of her bangles, which is absolutely stunning, 22 karat gold with like tiny emeralds.
That just gave me chills. Like, I don't know.
I know. I've never shown that to you, right?
I know. Wait a second. I've not heard the story. Okay.
Yeah.
22 karat gold. 22 Sorry, you stopped me there.
It's over. 22 karat.
Yeah.
With emeralds and sapphires and rubies embedded in it.
Yeah.
And it's the most stunning thing. We don't have stuff like that anymore, right? And so for me to have that, and that was my grandmother's, that's everything to me,
Yeah. What does that bangle mean to you? Like, what does it represent to you?
Well, it represents her, I don't have very much from her. I also didn't get to spend very much time with her because she was always across the world.
Yeah.
But I know she was amazing, and she represented so much to our family. She was the one who was the chef, and she passed that all down. And I feel like I have that from her. And so every time I wear that, I just think of her and I smile, and I think of her warmth and she was quietly so funny, and loved food more than I did. She was next level. So I get to preserve her in that bangle.
That's beautiful. My brother brought up an interesting fact that I love sharing now. I don't know if it's just like this thing where my brother and I like to justify our very expensive purchases, but he has this whole thought about a Rolex watch, right? And so the Rolex watch, I'm sure other watches too, but they are powered by movement. And so it was really important for him to have my grandfather's watch, his Rolex, and we didn't find it after he passed, unfortunately. So we don't know where that watch went. But for my brother, when he buys a Rolex, that's what it's going to represent when he passes it down to his son. And I've heard that meaning before, and I never correlated it to having a ring or a bracelet or something that I would pass down to my daughter that actually represented me in that same way.
Yeah.
So just like how that Rolex does that for a man, right? Passing it down to his son or grandson, you're doing that with even just with bracelets, with rings. I've even seen you do it with necklaces.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just designed myself a necklace that represented a chapter I went through. I've always wanted an emerald. Yes. Yeah, I'm wearing it.
Oh, I didn't know that one. Okay, I want to see it.
I've always wanted an emerald, and I was sourcing one for a client, and there was these twins. You would have loved them. And I was like, I can't leave the other one. And also there was another client that popped in my head instantly. I'm like, well, if this client doesn't want this, I know someone else who'd want these because they're just so rare and so beautiful, right?
Right.
And so then I thought, I've always wanted one. Green has a special meaning to me this year. And I engraved something on the back, which, represents a story I went through a year ago. And so I am like carrying forward, and I even put it in a bezel setting because to me that represents like, I feel like really formed and ready for what's next. And the bezel to me is like the jar that's holding, what's next and what's meant for you.
Yeah.
So there's so much meaning in this necklace.
And it's like, it's not like a gaudy big piece that you had to put all this stuff together to create. Like, it's like perfect. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, real quick, before we get back into it, I have a free gift for you. Do you feel called to share your story, inspire others, or make a greater impact in the world? Brand Builders Group has helped some of the biggest names on the planet, like Ed Milet, Lewis Howes, and Amy Porterfield. They are using this specific playbook that I want to gift you. And this playbook is going to help you become more recognized for your expertise, get paid more for your unique insights, and make an even greater impact on the world. And I want to gift it to you, the free audiobook version of the New York Times best-selling book, Wealthy and Well-Known. This way you can have the strategies and walk through it and have the tools to build your brand on your own. The link is going to be in the show notes there. Seriously, take me up on it. All right, let's get back into the conversation. Speaking of putting together your own necklace and what you do for clients, so I know that they're going to be curious, like, how do you do all this? So walk me through. A woman sits down with you for the first time.
Yeah.
So what are you asking her? What are you listening for?
I am listening for I'm listening for the meaning.
The meaning. Yeah.
What's behind this? Why does she want this?
Yeah.
Right. So we can even take this. So I started with engagement rings, and I always had this bias of like, I really need to listen to the woman, and I really want the woman to be part of it because it's such a huge thing.
Right.
I really don't think that it should be purchased for her. I think she should be part of it for something you're wearing every day.
Right.
And then fast forward to now I work with heirloom pieces, melt them down, create special things. Those are the true transformation stories, right? So, so for anything from something new to something that old and meaningful, I'm listening for the meaning. I'm listening for the journey. And then obviously there's practical steps of like what should be in a design. You shouldn't wear certain designs if you're not going to be, some you have to be a bit more careful or et cetera. Like there's so many factors, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm listening for the story. And then I am going to go to what truly suits you.
Yeah.
And what is meant for you, what's meant for your hand, what looks good on your skin, what length of necklace, what you should be doing. So that's the practical side. And just by getting to know the person, I feel like I'm able to really add the touches that make these pieces stand out and are truly something that, that are unforgettable. That's my goal.
Yeah.
It's always it's gonna speak to you while you're wearing it.
Yeah. And I've heard you talk about even the origin of where something comes from, or like you said, the color for you, the green,
Yep.
it represents something, and you don't have to share what that even represents. But for, for your clients who are sitting down, there's color, there's the type of diamond, the type of stone, right?
Yep.
Everything
Yep.
that has a meaning.
Absolutely.
Down to the color, down to the actual, like, do rubies and emeralds, do they have certain meaning to them?
Oh,
also?
yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, so traditionally we've seen people go to their birthstone or,
Right,
or
yeah.
like also these really cheesy pieces.
Mhm.
And there's so much more to that,
Yeah.
right? Than just going to your birthstone. There's so much more to, like you said, origin, where something comes from,
Mhm.
what mine can I get it from to like knock it out of the park for somebody.
Yeah.
That's what gets me so excited. I know,
Mhm.
I sent you a message because
know.
I found something really exciting
know.
and I was so pumped. I was like, I got to tell somebody.
I know.
But it is, there's so much depth. And I mean, these are the things from the earth that,
Yeah.
how do we even have any business having these things? It's so amazing.
Right.
Mhm.
There was one story too that I love that we're allowed to share. I have secret information, but there's one that I love where you had this imperfect diamond.
Mhm.
So can you tell us a little bit about that and what that
Yes.
means, the imperfect diamond?
Yeah, you're talking about the necklaces?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I spoke at a retreat with these amazing ladies and they were working on themselves. Like
Yeah.
this was a nervous system retreat, and that's just deep work that you
Yeah.
can choose to not do,
Right.
It's easier to go through life and not choose the hard stuff.
Of course.
And these women were so amazing and they came together and this was they wanted to improve. They wanted life to
Mhm.
change. So the imperfect diamond is basically actually showing the inclusions of the carbon from the diamond. So of course a diamond is formed by carbon under extreme pressure,
Yeah.
extreme heat, extreme conditions, thousands of years under the earth with that happening. And you can't really recreate that, like a
Yeah.
lab can't do that.
Yeah.
So the imperfect diamond comes from the earth and it represents that, they've told us in life that diamonds should be perfect and diamonds should be white and clear. And those are
Right.
the valuable
The 4
stones.
C's or whatever. Is that what that's
Exactly.
called? Yeah.
Yes,
So,
they
yeah.
have one could argue they have brainwashed us into what a diamond should look like, right?
Mhm.
And when you think of the imperfect diamond, all I could think about when it came to these ladies was, it's showing the work, it's showing the journey, the pressure, the stress, all of the hard things that they're doing is represented by these small imperfect details.
Yeah.
And no two are alike, right?
Right.
And no two journeys are alike. So instead of saying, oh, a diamond needs to be perfect, that's what they try to tell us about life, right? Let's sugarcoat life. What should life look like on Instagram or whatever?
Yeah.
And really, like the best part about life is when we're open and messy and honest. And those diamonds represent that to me.
Yeah.
They're showing the carbon.
Mhm.
They're showing where they came from, but also because of the beautiful work they did, a diamond is formed.
Right.
And so that's what that necklace
Yeah.
represents to them.
Yeah. Not a bad imperfection on your neck.
Not
That's
a bad
for sure.
one.
I look at it as like you're putting this on, like it's almost like you're putting on your armor for the day.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you put on that necklace and it's the reminder when you look in the mirror that that's what you walked through.
Exactly. And you said it.
And it's still beautiful.
It's still beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the difference when you ask me about rings. What I like about necklaces is it's the reminder in the mirror, right? The ring you see more. So the ring is more of a constant reminder, but then the necklace is almost like, you go fix your hair and you're like, ooh, yeah,
Ooh,
wow. Good reminder.
so good. Now you mentioned the transformation rings, which are someone has a piece of jewelry that means something to them, but now they're going to make it something that they can actually wear. Like maybe it's something that they don't want to wear.
Yeah.
These pieces also, they can mark major life moments.
Yep.
I've seen you even recreate pieces that were stolen. But as far as like new life moments, new chapters, losses, right? Personal reinventions. Can you share your favorite story that you have of someone that you helped design?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'm going to go to one of my first ring transformations. And it's actually a message. I'm wondering if it is the first.
Yeah.
Where I didn't think I was going to end up doing that. I call them ring transformations, right? The rework and the redesign. And it was a DM that I saved because I found it.
Yeah.
And she basically said, I have my mother's jewelry. I have my mother's rings.
Yeah.
And I'm getting married soon. And I was wondering if you would rework these into my wedding rings. I don't know if you do this. And it's such a good message.
I do now. No.
I do. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, it's like the transformations just kept coming to me,
Right.
knocking on my door.
Yeah.
So she had lost her mom to cancer.
Mm.
And, now it's her time to get married. And also her mom loved jewelry. So it was important to her. Like she loved jewelry too.
Yeah.
And I think we took I should know this, but it was 3 to 4 rings that we transformed.
Wow.
And all of those pieces, are in her set. And she wears my favorite color, which is 18 karat rose gold. So she fell in love with that too.
Yeah.
So we transformed all this into something that is so her. And also every time she adds to her set, like now she has a baby and she's thinking of adding something,
Oh my gosh,
so every
so
time you're
fun.
adding, it's like sitting beside mom's pieces.
Yeah.
So that's a story I absolutely love. Just thinking also that was an original story because, nothing can make up for the fact that your mom's not going to be there on your wedding day. But what's the little thing we can do?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? What's the little thing I can do to make it special for you?
Yeah.
And that's what I can do.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you have that representation after your wedding, and then you're adding on to it with your own story and your own reminder.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So beautiful. I love this idea of wearing your legacy while you're still building it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Not waiting until you've quote unquote made it. So, but marking the journey now. Why do you think most women don't do that for themselves?
Oh, I wish I knew. No, I do. I think that women in general have a hard time doing something for themselves and prioritizing themselves. I think naturally we are always taking care of other people.
Yeah.
And then we are thinking, oh, is this something that should be prioritized, right? And then it's funny because I mentioned my East Indian background. Like I always joke that there should be like a podcast with Indian women telling us here in North America what to do.
Right.
Because they would be, if they
so
heard
funny.
like, oh, I don't think I should do that for myself right now, they'd be like, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they would tell you right off.
So funny.
Because they hoard jewelry, right?
Yeah.
They love it. And there's no issue with them buying themselves anything.
Right. Yeah. They're going to do it.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
Right. And also, again, it's a matter of when, not if,
Not if.
right?
Yeah.
And so there's always a when.
Right.
So you can do it. But I think it's permission.
Yeah.
And we don't give ourselves permission to do these things. And sometimes society gives us, permission for certain things. Like, for example, I think it was mid-'80s when designer handbags started to become a thing.
Okay.
When women were really going out in the workforce and doing their thing.
Yeah.
And those have become celebration markers. Like you're not going to hear a woman hesitate of like, I want the $12,000 Chanel.
Yeah.
That's on the list. There's no issue of do I deserve it because it's mainstream, right? And so I feel like buying the diamond for yourself is not mainstream yet.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, buy the $12,000 eternity band, that's going to mean a lot more to you long term than the Chanel bag is.
Right.
It's also going to last or have both. But basically, don't not mark milestones with jewelry because you're stuck on, do I deserve it? Is it the right time? Or should someone else get it for me?
Yeah.
And I think those are the main issues.
Yeah. And before you came along, if you think about it, you'd have to go to a store trying to find something. Like there wasn't this concept of I'm going to get a ring or a necklace that represents my journey.
No.
I've never seen anything like that. The closest that we see is charms, right? Charm bracelets, which is like, that's not for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
And they're cheaper and stuff. And I've been guilty of that because you didn't exist back then when I was buying charm bracelets and stuff like that. I do have one that I'll share, and I wore it today specifically for you, even though it's not one of your pieces. But I was going to have surgery in October last year, and I went to New York City with a friend of mine, and she and I were walking in the store, and just for fun, like I was going to pick up my daughter or something. These are like, I don't even know what you would call these, beaded, kind of like friendship bracelet type things, and they have little sayings on them. And I saw this and it said strong AF. And I wore this thing every single day and I was terrified before my surgery and just looking at it. And it was just a reminder to me because I saw that there. Yeah. And just even the little things like that, but to be able to have something that you're able to then pass down, maybe not marking a surgery. Like I don't, this has meaning to me, but I'd rather mark a wedding. I'd rather mark the birth of a kid, right?
Yes.
I'd rather there are things that major life things I think this is the perfect time to go into this story because you've created my favorite pieces. And everything that I'm wearing is designed by you. It's by Margot. And now I'm just like obsessed. Every time you share something, I'm like, I want that. I want that. I need to be able to buy that soon. But you have given me a couple different things. So one is a gold band, or one's a gold band and it says harness your passion.
Mhm.
So that's what I had engraved in that one. You gifted me this beautiful champagne band. So it's like I'm starting to build my little set here.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to save the best for last, this bracelet stack. So this is like an everyday, we used to joke that, a tennis bracelet, if you just get one, like that's a big deal.
Yes.
Well, I've got my third coming here. So
Yeah.
building my little stack here.
It's so nice.
And how this represents just even my style. I remember putting it on for the first time and being like, I need that to be my everyday look. But when it comes to ring transformations, I really want to set this one up. So I had a ring
Mhm.
that when I was moving from San Diego, California, I was born and raised in San Diego, California, and I had never lived away from my mom. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it here. I'm 41. I'll be 42. And never lived away from my mom. And this was this was like 5 years ago. I was moving away from San Diego, leaving my whole family, my twin brother, my mom. And that was really, and then of course my in-law, like everyone that I was leaving, like
Yeah,
was
big
hard.
deal.
So I remember like, so my mom and I, we do what we do is we have a couple drinks and then we go shopping. And
Good primer.
she loves, yeah, exactly. She loves to go to pawn shops and pick up jewelry at a discounted rate. And then sometimes she'll have it redesigned, right? Reset and stuff. So we did that and we found this ring and it was neat. It was a diamond ring and it was different and neat. So I bought that at that time and it was just a reminder of our time together. Now my mom since moved here.
Mhm.
Thank God. And so now she lives here and I've, you knew my story that I was going through a divorce. And so I wanted something that would just represent all this newness and change in my life.
Mhm.
And I gave you that ring because I wanted to wear it all the time, but I just didn't love it. Right. I loved it enough to buy it for a couple $100s or whatever at the pawn shop.
Exactly.
But I wanted something that was really me. And I knew just from knowing you for a couple of years, I knew that you would be able to capture that. And you were like, I want to capture this whole story in this season. And that really fits in with like what you're building right now.
Yep.
So I really want you to break this down for me because you actually have never really broken it down for me. I don't know how you came up with this concept for this ring. And then how does it fit back to my story of this journey and what I'm building now and the change in my life?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So there is, when you gave me that ring and said
Yeah.
you wanted me to work on it,
Mm-hmm.
there is a wedding band in my collection that you liked. And
Mhm.
it's an asymmetrical band, right? It's like
Yeah.
a cluster of diamonds with
It's like
different.
messy.
It's
Like
messy
in a
yeah.
beautiful way. Messy
Yeah.
diamonds.
Messy diamonds.
Yeah.
So nothing is even. It's asymmetrical.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. I called it winter because it reminds me of like snowflakes falling, like they're not the same.
Yeah.
And I also am not I don't use a ton of round diamonds. I'm not going to say I'm not a fan. I just think they're overused.
Yeah.
And fancy shapes is every other shape. And I'm obsessed with all of them. So,
Yeah.
marquise, pear, I love all of them in mini as well. So this band
Mhm.
has the marquise, has the pear shape,
Yeah.
has some rounds, and those are the main ones. You loved it.
Yeah.
But then as we were thinking about it, you said, how could this work with my stones and all that? With your style and your vibe and everything, the bit more of a thicker gold band really suits you. And
Yeah.
yellow gold showing on you
Right.
really suits you.
Yeah, I love yellow gold.
Right. And that's why those
Mhm.
those bracelets look so good too right now.
Yeah.
It's, you need the pop of gold showing.
Right.
And the warmth and everything that is. So you love that.
Yeah.
And then of course you would describe your style as a bit edgy.
Mm-hmm.
So I showed you a picture of a band I did for a client, which was the wider gold band. So,
Mhm.
right, let's just say 4 millimeters
Yeah.
with a row of diamonds on the edge. Like that was just an even row and you loved it,
Mhm.
and I did too.
Yeah.
And so then it clicked. I was like, okay, we're going to mix these together.
Yeah.
The amount of
I never would have thought to put them together. That was the thing though. It's
I
like,
don't think anyone's made anything like that.
no,
Basically,
I don't like, I
Mm-mm.
get stopped like everywhere. I get my nails done and everybody wants this ring. So I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see it. I'll go like this just in case.
Yes.
But I'll also put a picture of it. But,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's really special. So, okay. So my great idea was not very easy to make, but the amount of time when I know someone well, it's not stressful, but I have this, like, I have to ace it, you know? So the amount of times I scribbled and erased and scribbled was a lot, but I love everything about that. I love how it turned out. I especially love how it ends on the sides. So basically, marquees to me, so that's, you know, some people call that the eye shape, if you're not familiar.
Okay.
Really reminds me of leaves, you know, and, you know, of course, Tennessee is famous for fall, but it, you know, you think of that quickly. You came to Tennessee, but I think about a journey when I think of leaves falling on the ground, like a path.
Yeah.
And so that represents the journey to me for you. You already had the round diamonds that we were to put in there, you know, from you and mom buying it together and you missing your mom and, you know, the whole journey of like, oh my goodness, I'm going to take this leap of faith because for you, that was the beginning of a lot of changes that were in your heart, right? You know, changing your career, changing where you are, everything, you know? And that's a big leap of faith. So I wanted to represent that. And also a path and a journey of life, just like the diamonds we talked about, it's not straight. It is, if only, you know.
If only it was just,
No, right? Like we're always like this, trying to get to where we're going.
Yeah.
And so what I love about that is the cluster represents like we cannot control things in life, right? We can make decisions and then we live with them and we live with the outcomes. And the only thing we can do is maybe try to change our path.
Yeah.
And so for me, that represents all of that, right?
Yeah.
And even the way it ends off, it ends off so perfectly because that's important for me
and
a design.
So beautiful.
But it's, you know, it's not a perfect path and life is not perfect, but I'm also so proud. I was so proud of you at that time because I knew you were making these changes that were in your heart.
Right.
And so I hope that represents forever, like that you should be so proud too, because look where you've come.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's a big difference from when we had this conversation and it's really precious to me. I was talking to someone about my journey and she literally said, I want you to look at that ring that your friend designed for you. And she's like, I just want you to remember that God has something beautiful for you. And I was like, I'm getting like choked up thinking about it, but I was like, that's so true. Like that's what these things are. So when my daughter, you know, when I pass this ring to my daughter, it means something. It's not something that I just picked up at Benbridge or wherever, like two people. Is that still in existence? So yeah, it is. It means so much. And so it's fun hearing that story. And also engraved in it, it says something new. And I will share that because this ring means so much to me and because I love it so much and I don't think I should hide it from the world, that I told you that you could go ahead and offer it for other people that want this design. So you normally don't do that.
No.
And I was like, you know, so many people want it. Like, I didn't want you to have to like recreate it over and over again, because I know how much work you put into it.
I did.
And I also love it when like, I'm like the influencer and like people are wearing the Risha ring, even if they don't know it, right?
Ring.
No, but it does like, there's such a story to it that I would love for people to feel that same way and feel that empowerment when they're looking at it, that they can get through that tough time and the messy path and have that reminder. So
totally. Well, I called it the Horizon Band on my end because I was trying to think of something really unique for it. And, you know, it's like changing your horizon and the path and all of the beautiful story woven in there.
Yeah.
You know?
So good. Now you have a belief that might surprise people. So I'm just going to go ahead and like throw it out there.
Which one?
We're going to go here. So you believe that a man should not just pick out an engagement ring. I'm going to set this up a little bit because I'm going to push back a little bit. So the man should not pick out the engagement ring. Like most men, they go to the store. They go to the jewelry store. That sounds so like they go to Target. No, they go to the jewelry store and they don't even know what the heck they're picking. Honestly, like how do they even? Is it like, do they like the ring? I don't even know. Maybe their soon to be fiance like might have like sent them photos, probably photos that contradicted each other. Who knows, right? And so they're trying to show this jeweler this potential ring. But you're going like, that should not happen at all. No. Like that, God forbid, because this woman's going to wear this ring her entire life unless she gets it upgraded or she runs into you and you help her out.
Yeah. So I've become I do think that I've become more hardcore about it, probably because I've met so many women that don't like their ring.
And they're like afraid to tell you.
They're afraid to tell me.
Yeah. Or they're afraid to show you.
Yeah. So there was one interaction that I'll never forget, that every time I talked to this particular person, they'd cover their hand subconsciously as we're talking. And at the first time I thought it was kind of weird. Second time I realized you don't want me to see your ring. And first of all, that's so sad. Like, I want to see your ring. I don't care. And secondly, that means that that's how much you don't like it. And it's also dramatic because it's, it's hard enough to be married. You don't need to have this weird thing hanging over you that you didn't like the ring and you have to tell them and you have to go through all this. I've seen clients do that. It's so emotional and unnecessary.
Right.
I had a client who, he was literally dead set against her changing her ring, even though she was a hairdresser and it was white gold and like all of those
messes with
everything strips white gold.
Yep.
So she was not liking it because it was always turning yellow anyway.
Right.
So she wanted to change it in yellow. She wasn't changing that much about it. And it was pretty simple reset. He was dead set against it. So then she finally did it. I'm proud of her.
Yeah.
And the story's so funny because then he ended up remaking his own ring and he's in love with his band.
Yeah.
Like he loves it so much and it's so much more him and all this. The guy who is dead set, but that's rare. Most, and there's also the other extreme where maybe you really love what he picked you.
Right.
Because that's also, it happens. But very small.
Yeah.
Like maybe 1%ers, That's just like, you're just happy and it was simple and you were fine,
Yeah.
But most of the time, you might like it at first, but then you wish this was different, that was different. And those are all the conversations I've had.
Yeah.
Where, and it's so unnecessary because then later you're just going to have to spend more money and fix it.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to get into these dramatic, horrible conversations that add stress to your relationship. I had a client who waited 7 years to tell him she didn't like her ring anymore.
Yeah.
It was in a drawer for 7 years. And the other thing that I've noticed too, after women have babies and their size changes a bit, that's like a good excuse for a lot of women to take off the ring and they'll just say it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's actually pretty easy to resize a ring in most cases.
Yeah.
But I've realized it's actually a subconscious excuse that
While
you're
they're
done with
resizing it, they might as well just.
That's what they end up with.
Exactly.
Yeah. But a lot of them are just, it's an excuse of why it's not on.
Yeah.
And so this one woman, 7 years in a drawer.
Whoa.
So stressed out about changing it to the fact where we finally met. She called me on the drive home, panicking that if she changed the gold color, he'd be offended.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, I'm not starting your ring right now. You call him and ask him.
Yeah. And see.
And just ask him.
Yeah.
Guess what he said?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Like, why? He's not wearing it. Why would he care?
He doesn't care if you want another gold color. He wants you to be happy.
Yeah.
And he wants you to tell him,
Yeah.
So this all starts by the wrong ring being chosen. But this was all a marketing gimmick. Like, that's the truth. They marketed to us that a man need to buy this diamond and need to be a diamond and it need to be 4 C's and all that stuff.
Right.
And, we just have to keep breaking that down because are you going to go buy a townhouse without your wife? Are you going to go buy her a car without her? Probably not. I almost think
you're not even going to buy her a purse.
You're definitely not buying her a purse.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
yes. And how many men will pick out an item of clothing? That stresses them right out.
Yeah, and it's getting returned.
But then they're gonna spend thousands of dollars on the wrong ring that she has to wear every day.
Yeah.
I
think because and I'm gonna say what the viewer might be thinking and what I was thinking too, and I want you to help me kind of break this belief down. But there's this thought of like, well, I should just appreciate it because of the thought. But it's like a $30,000 thought or whatever, depending on the ring. A $30,000 wrong thought. Maybe. I mean, maybe 15,000, whatever, right? Yes. Like it's an expensive thought.
It's an expensive thought.
Okay. Now walk me through this. So if I am a romanticizer, and I'm like, he's just so perfect and he's just so talented. Like he would totally be able to, I think, design a ring.
Sure.
Right? But not without you. So, but I think that there's that hope that he would be able to pick out the perfect ring and it would be like a symbol of our love and it would represent him and I'm wearing a representation of him, right? So that's what the romanticizer would think.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So I would like to ask them right back.
Yeah.
Do you want to risk the romantic notion for something you hate?
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? Yeah. No, the truth is no. And what I love about what you do is you are actually able to have a bit of the romantic thing in there. So you have two options.
I do.
But the one that I really, really love is how you kind of like co-design with the guy. Walk me through that.
So the best clients, okay, so totally my main male client coming to me for this.
Yeah.
They are the ones who say, I trust you, Margot. You know, here's her wish list.
Yeah.
Or she's interacted with me. She's probably referred me, right? How else are they finding me?
Yeah.
She trusts you, so I trust you. I had a client say that to me once, and it was like so special. That was when I was newer. She trusts you, so I trust you. Do it. And that's when I can do my best work, you know?
Yeah, because they're not going to question you and be like, well, no, I really want it done like this.
Or you know, it's just that I'm an expert, right? So I'm going to make it amazing for you. And that's why you're finding me.
Yeah.
And it's the whole reason I got into this, because there was that hole in the jewelry market, right? Ring market.
Yeah.
Of, you know, somebody who can make a ring on a bench, right?
Right.
So that's like a mechanic knows how to fix a car or build an engine. Do they know how to style the body so it's super sleek and beautiful?
Yeah.
Do they know how to pick the perfect paint color? You know,
right.
That's a good analogy for
that
men.
You're gonna love.
That you're gonna love.
Yeah.
Do they know what is actually going to physically, you know, work on the exterior look, even though they can build the thing that makes it run? It's like bench workers in jewelry.
Right.
I often say, like, the architect and interior designer, that's an easier one, right? Where an architect will be really good at building the foundation and the house, but they may have no idea what color drape belongs.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have crossover, and there's a lot of that out there.
Right.
There's some okay rings,
Yeah.
but a lot of times they know how to build, but they don't know how to design.
Yeah.
And there are very few designers in the ring world, like very few, you know? And finding those people is hard, and that's rare. And that's why we have so many ugly rings, ugly jewelry out there.
Yeah.
Is because we just have a bunch of mass-produced stuff that does not have a refined designer eye. So if a man is coming to me and saying, I trust you, Margot, I'm going to make sure that it's not only structurally perfect, but it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get all the information I need. But the other option, of course, is she can design with me first and put it on file, right? So that's the best option.
Yeah.
Make a wish list. Because, you know, they'll say, oh, you mentioned this. I have a Pinterest board to show you.
Right.
The Pinterest board has the most recent pin and the one you pinned from 5 years ago. And like, which one do you like?
Right.
So that does not work. Right.
Yeah.
And there's all these subtleties of how high it should be. How do you want a band to fit with it? What do you want to do with it in the future? And then, of course, we have something called a proposal ring, which is the ultimate surprise tool, where you can just propose with a stand-in ring that's Instagram worthy. It's pretty for your photo.
Right.
And then you come design together. It's like the ultimate gift card. So there's ways to be romantic.
Right.
But without being risky.
Yeah, that would be fun to design together. When you say it like that, that is fun. So you have the option of design it together or design it with you. He can design it with you.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be special. I've seen the stuff that men have designed with you, and it's like, it just makes me want to design another ring with you. Like so ring. Bad. Like I'm just so excited. I can't wait. Hey, can I ask you something real quick? Are you the best kept secret in your industry? It's not a trick question. So many of us should be way busier than we are, way more known, way more booked. But here's the truth. People can't trust you if they don't know you exist. And most experts, they're relatively unknown except for their small circle in their industry. And it's not because they're not incredible at what they do. It's because they haven't been able to clearly articulate what it is that they do, who they serve, and what business they actually are in. And that's exactly what Brand Builders Group helps you figure out. We help you craft an intentional personal brand that reflects your truth and deliberately attracts the opportunities and the attention that actually matters. So you can become the #1 go-to trusted expert in your space. If you're ready to start building, growing, and monetizing your personal brand, you can click the link in the show notes, and we're offering a free brand strategy call. It's free, it's real, and it might be the conversation that changes everything for you. All right, let's get back into it. You've already mentioned this of like how many women have sat across from you, right? That they feel guilty and maybe they're not even saying it out loud. But so when they've had some pushback about buying this ring, like how do you walk them through like changing their mindset about how they're feeling about like they should be wearing maybe like I don't even know the name brands, but like those designer bracelets that everybody's wearing. So they'll drop whatever on that type of bracelet
Yes.
instead of designing something that's truly for them.
Yes. Yeah. So how do I navigate that?
Yeah.
It's really hard because some people are really name brand conscious, right? And that's they are buying name over even. Do they even like it? You know, is it even nice?
Right.
There's one arguably that's blown up that I think is pretty ugly.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
And so then there's this other thing, and we will mention this, right? So there's a famous bangle, right?
Yeah.
That Cartier came out with, which was a beautiful bangle.
Yeah.
We'll say the name.
Yeah.
And now women are taking the bangle off. Do you know why?
No.
Because it's being copied everywhere. And unfortunately, Cartier didn't handle that well. When they were asked, how do I know that it's original? They didn't handle that properly. They said, you can't. And, you know, they should have just put a serial number. They should have said, oh, there's a serial number, whatever. And consumers would have been happy.
Right.
But they said you can't because it was being copied everywhere. Because it's actually really simple.
Yeah.
With a cool clasp.
Yeah.
And women were stacking those like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of the day, ladies, like that stops looking lovely.
Yeah.
1, 2, sure.
Right.
But now people are now taking them off because they became like this mass-produced item with some bad PR.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting how name brands stick and don't stick.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I thought that was a really pretty bangle. I like it. I mean, I wear bangles every day.
Yeah.
But if you actually stop and think, like, I don't know how to say this properly, but the people who are wearing the super unique stuff made for them, those people are really interesting. In fact, and I love those people.
Yeah,
you know,
right?
They're at a different level.
Yeah.
Because they aren't swayed by names. They know what they need.
Yeah.
You know, I met a woman with this gorgeous necklace stack, and I still think about it. Wow. And she said, "Oh, that's such a compliment coming from you." I'm like, "That's because people don't do that."
Right.
It's so stunning. You know, she's got 3 layers of it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
You know, similar style to the bangle, to the bracelets that you like.
Yeah.
And it blew me away. I was like, that is so you. No one has that. It is very bougie.
Yeah.
Very.
Very. Yeah.
And her. And so I think I don't know how to tell women that if they're just starting to think, maybe just think about what would it look like if I was actually wearing something that represented me.
Yeah.
What do I actually like? You know, I had a client who loved, she's in her 50s and she loved buying jewelry everywhere. And so I told her, I said, listen, first off, we have to change your gold color. And then we need some of this stuff to start flowing because you have a lot of pieces that are like, they're kind of mishmashy together. She started building her collection and she went to the gold color I recommended.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable.
Really?
When she posts pictures, it is night and day.
Wow.
Just with these small, one could call it an accessory change.
Yeah.
It just represents who she is, and it brings out beauty, and it is so her, you know? And so I think women should think about that more.
Right. Well, there's the representation of your story.
Yeah.
There's also this level of confidence that comes from like what you just said of wearing a look that is also like if it is bougie, like you know if you're wearing cheap jewelry.
Yes.
Right? You just know.
Yes.
You know if your purse is a fake.
Yes.
Like it's the same idea. So yeah, okay, it doesn't tarnish or whatever. You can swim wearing this other jewelry, but like you know what you're wearing. You know what you spent on it. You know if it's diamonds. You know if like so there's a level of confidence and then how you're showing up even in the room. And I also love this idea of like the signature look, like how you have your signature look and how we're building mine. And I feel like I have one now where it's like, I love seeing my little necklace stack in videos whenever, or in photos.
Me too.
I love it. I love my bracelets showing up in places. So I love seeing it and I love it being part of my look. But it's also like this level of like, I'd rather have my jewelry than like I'm wearing Levi's jeans, like Levi's jeans and a crop tee work well with fine jewelry.
It
like
certainly does.
It levels it up just like a designer purse might, right?
Yes. And you told me that story where you saw this particular client and she had all her nice jewelry and a white tee.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And you thought, I want a jewelry
and a baseball hat.
And a baseball
like she was
hat.
so casual, But she looked so put together because of her jewelry.
Yeah, it's so funny because I spend a lot of time at the baseball field these days with my 11-year-old, and I always have my bangles on, and I wear a band stack. I don't usually wear my main ring. I don't like things getting dirty, but I'll have like a band stack, and I'll have now my emerald necklace, and probably bangles, and I'm very casual, everybody, and you have to wear a hat or you scorch.
Right.
And I feel so good every time I look at the gold on my hand, and I don't know, this is all the things I'm bringing over from my Indian blood because they know where it's at.
Right.
They'd be doing it too.
Right. Now, the show is called Little Extra because I believe that the thing that makes you extra is actually your magic. You have a lot of that. So tell me, what's the thing about you that people have, maybe they've called it too much or a lot or extra, that turned out to be the exact thing that made you extraordinary, that makes you extraordinary?
What a good question. Okay, so I can pick out flaws really quickly. So my husband will be like, stop doing that. Or like, he'll just think, he's like, don't be negative.
Yeah.
I don't see it as negativity, but I can see, I'll like go into a room and I'll be like, oh, that doesn't work. Or, this is off. Or I'll know, after I renovated my house, I noticed that I picked one thing wrong in my shower and it drove me nuts every single day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Why am I wasting brain space thinking about the fact that I put the wrong tile down on the floor, right? But those are the things that really stick out to me. And I think it's the same way I see jewelry design is because I can see the little things. And even when I was building my team when I was newer, prongs on a diamond, I will die on that hill every day. I can't stand them.
Really?
They're so chunky and so thick and so ugly. And just the way the prongs are typically ruin the ring.
Right.
And so I'd be there with my goldsmiths being like, Violet, no, change it. Violet. And this is not a durability issue. This is a design thing.
Yeah.
And I would obsess over that. And they'd be like, and then they'd tell my team, oh, she's driving me nuts. And I do drive them nuts because those little details have to be perfect. So that's translates to the jewelry.
Yeah.
But man, if a nail is in the wrong place in the wall, I will see it.
Yeah, you'll see it. Well, that even, when you look at the design that I have specifically, it's messy, but it's actually harder to design messy.
Oh, yeah.
And have it look good.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Than it is to put something together that's just like a straight line. Like that's like perfectly symmetrical and perfectly. So I love the disconnected things I've seen you make. What would you say is your favorite, your absolute favorite design that you've done recently?
Recently?
Or transformation. Yeah.
Ooh, recently.
Like what's the coolest story?
Okay, well, I can tell you one of my favorite stories.
Okay.
It's from last year. I think last year. So this absolutely amazing mom, superstar woman. I just adore her. So I started following her on Instagram right when her 6-year-old son was passing away. And I started following her on that journey. Yeah. So he was battling cancer. Wow. And then instantly I'm like, I want to do something for her. I just want her to feel better, And I eventually reached out to her and said, you should come in and see me. I would love to gift you something. And she's not someone who wants to take gifts at all.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe I'll wander in. She was like, I'm pretty lost. Maybe one of these days I'll wander in and see you.
Oh.
So the year later, she comes in and she's so funny. And just the way she talks about her story, she's like, oh, you can say that. He doesn't care. She says that he picked her the absolute wrong wedding set.
Oh my gosh.
She was pregnant at the time.
Yeah.
She grabbed her wedding band at a random store. She thought it never went together. She said him and his and her mother-in-law picked it and it was all wrong.
Yeah.
So she'd wanted to change that this whole time, okay? So she came in and sat down and she loved, it was a princess cut and she loved ovals. So what we do first of all is if you're not reusing your diamond, we turn it into a necklace because we think it's such a special thing to keep close to your heart. So, of course, her original diamond went into a necklace. And then we work on this ring design. And it's the opposite of what she had. Wow. It is a thick band. She showed me a picture of a thick band with a tilted oval. So totally at an angle.
Yeah.
And it was so fascinating. I loved it. So we worked on that design. She loved one of my, actually, it's a men's band that I designed for my husband because he is always in suits and always dressed up. And he loves hammered looks. But I said, you can't, like hammered is a bit casual. So I created a ring for him that was really sleek through the center with hammered edges. And they are very imperfect edges too. It's a cool band. Like you'll find me on the bench hitting that thing myself because they tend to make it too perfect.
Yeah.
I need it to be rugged.
Yeah.
And he loved that the show Suits. So we
Yeah.
called that the Spectre, the Harvey
Oh,
Spectre.
that's cool.
So that band,
Yeah.
she loved. And she
Mhm.
said, can we do this style? I was like, absolutely. I love that style too. I wear his ring all the time.
Yeah.
And so then we have this beautiful diamond oval to put on it. And again, she was there with her mother-in-law who was
Yeah.
telling her, get what you want. Like
Right.
she's like, shouldn't I just reuse the old one? Get what you want, right?
Yeah.
If anyone understands that life is short, it is her. Get what you
Mhm.
want.
Yeah.
So I come up with this design, and then I was able to, and then she also had her grandma's diamonds that were in a band she didn't like.
Mhm.
So she wanted that to become an eternity band.
Yeah.
So what we did there is golden is what represents her son.
Mhm.
And she has something called the Golden Society, and she helps other moms and awareness and everything. Like she's
Yeah.
amazing. So golden always reminds her of him, and
Mm.
she loves watching Golden Hour and all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So we put a golden stone in the eternity band
Mm.
because obviously an eternity band moves and flips.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, that gold stone's going to pop up, and it's going to remind her of him.
Oh, wow.
And then with the final ring,
Mhm.
I got her son's writing is on her apparel.
Mhm.
And so I was able to grab that. And then I got the grandma to get me their daughter's autograph.
Yeah.
And so when she got the final design, it was actually both kids' handwriting embedded into the ring. And she
Oh
didn't
my
know that.
gosh. Oh my God.
And so again, like his writing is touching her
Yeah.
skin. And
Oh,
she is just
wow.
so inspiring. And the side of that design was so cool too. Because imagine you're putting like something tilted sideways on a thick
Mhm.
band. That could look real ugly sideways.
Totally.
It's
Yeah.
so pretty.
It has to be like the right angle.
It has to be
specifically.
so
like every
good.
little bit of, yeah.
Those things are way harder, as you
Absolutely.
pointed out. So
Yeah.
anything like that. So
Mhm.
it is just such a special story.
Yeah.
And I am just so thankful that I was able to do a little something for her because she
Mhm.
deserves so much, and she's just the best. The whole family's the best.
Yeah.
So that I'll never forget that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stays with you.
Oh yeah.
You get to hear about all these transformations, all these journeys,
Mhm.
and you get to create the reminder for it.
I do.
There's a woman listening right now who is where you were before you became this version of yourself. And before these other women have become that version of themselves that you help them walk through. What does she need to hear today?
That she has permission to get there.
Mm,
Just do it.
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Margot, for being on Little Extra today.
Thank you.
I love talking with you.
Me too.
If you're watching this episode today and you're realizing, you know what, I really need a reminder of some crazy stuff I went through, or I just want a ring that represents my journey and who I am, then I'm going to give you just a little pointer where you can start. So you can, first of all, you can follow Margot on Instagram at by Margot Rings. She shares so many beautiful designs. You can see some of the things that we talked about today on the show. So you can get a sneak peek into that. Also on her Instagram, and I'm going to link this too, so that you can have that in the notes. But she has a ring transformation guide so that you can get started and you can see what it takes to transform maybe a ring that just doesn't feel like you anymore. But I encourage you to capture your story in fine jewelry, something that can be passed down, something that you can look at on a daily basis and remind yourself that you're strong and that you've got this, and remind yourself how amazing you are. And you need that. You need that for yourself. So go spoil yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for tuning in.